Hi, I'm Kat Kahn from Bay County Public Library, and I'm here today to talk with you about our free comic week that is happening September 21st, and as long as our supplies last. This is from the Free Comic Book Day done by Diamond Comics with the various comic shops. But for the libraries, we decided that we would do it for this coming week, and we're going to be offering grab bags of these various titles. We'll have children's bags, teen bags, and adult bags. And they'll be available for curbside pickup. All you have to do is starting Monday the 21st, when you drive up, you can call our circulation desk and say that you would like to get some free comic book day bags, and tell them what you need. If you need how many children's bags, how many teen bags, how many adult bags. The children's bags are good for anywhere up through like age 12. The teen bags are basically 12 to 19, and the adult bags are actually for like ages 16 to 19 through adult. So if you have older teens who say they really don't want any of these titles, but they want maybe some of the adult titles, then you can easily say, I need an adult bag. It will be just fine. So we have an assortment of titles that are available this year, and they range from classic characters such as Little Lulu. She was one of my first comic books when I was like 6 years old. And Asterix the Gaul is coming back from paper cuts. And a new version of Owlie. When Andy Brunton first did Owlie, he did it as basically a wordless comic, and all the dialogue balloons were basically just little pictographs. But now he's colored them and put in some dialogue so it's more easily read. And there's still, once in a while, you'll see some of the original pictographs in the dialogue boxes. But it's a cute story, Owlie, and how he meets his best friend, Wormy, and other adventures. And we have this one, Loud House, is based on the cartoon series that's been on Cartoon Network. And this has a bunch of different stories. Some, like Zoo Patrol Squad and Owlie and some others, are basically like the first 20 pages or so of the graphic novel that is coming out or is already available. The My Little Pony has 2 full original stories in here. And the first story is actually written by a friend of mine, Jeremy Whitley. So, Jeremy, we have your comic. We also have things like Donut the Destroyer. Donut is a daughter of 2 supervillains, but she's bound and determined to become a superhero. So she gets into the superhero school and finds out it's kind of hard to blend in when your parents are supervillains. It's a lot of fun. Oh, and another classic, Donald Duck. So there are several stories in here featuring Donald Duck, his nephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, Uncle Scrooge, all the good characters. If you've been a fan of the classic Disney characters, you'll have some fun with that. A new one is Supermercado. If you like anything about rapping and music and just having some fun along with alien kidnappings and stuff, this is the book for you. And then this is a part of a new manga that's coming out, Sue and Tai-chan. Sue, she's a 17-year-old cat, been living a nice, quiet life with her human, when one day someone drops off little Tai-chan, little kitten, and that kitten wants to play with Sue. So you'll have the dialogue with their meows and whirs and along with what they're actually saying in the word balloons. This is a manga, but it is in color, and it does read the American style, so it's easy for younger readers to enjoy this. And actually, anyone can enjoy this, including adults. And investigators, yes, they are gators who are investigators. And this one is a sneak peek in their new book that's coming out. This is by John Patrick Green, and it's just crazy James Bond type fun for kids with a lot of awful puns. And then we have Only a Matter of Space-Time. This is another beginning of a book that is coming out. Now, the creator of this one also did the first several volumes of the Jedi Academy series. And so now he's got his own original science fiction story, Only a Matter of Space-Time. So we're going to move on to the teen titles. And we do have a lot of them. We've got an Archie Blue Ribbon Presents. So there's a story from Riverdale, which is the basically the more teen-oriented comic book series, and a little bit of the beginning of the new Betty and Veronica comic series, Betty and Veronica, The Bond of Friendship. So if you like Archie and you want a newer take on the Archie comics, these are not your classic Archies, as you can see. Okay. Viz sent us a couple of titles. So we have Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. There's a story from that, and also a story from Splatoon Squid Kid Squad. And this is in the right to left order, and it is straight out of the manga, but in the comic book size, so it's easier to read. And if you like those, you can try that. The other one is Naruto. This is a story from Naruto, and also a snippet from Samurai 8, which is a new Viz manga series. And again, in the classic right to left Japanese manga order. We have a couple of titles from Marvel. So there's Spider-Man, and you can see there's Black Cat and Venom on the cover. And this is X-Men. So most bags will have either one or the other of these titles. We also have Street Fighter 100. This is a full issue of the Street Fighter comics. If you've ever played the game like my son does, you might want to try this one. Another superhero one, this is from Valiant, is, if you recognize Vin Diesel, he played Bloodshot in the movie. That movie is based on the Bloodshot comics. And this one is Bloodshot and Exo Man of War from Valiant Comics. So slightly different superhero action in here. Now, Robert Kirkman, most people know him as the author and creator of The Walking Dead. But he has also done superhero comics. Before The Walking Dead, he did Invincible. So this reprints the first issue of Invincible, which Amazon Prime is going to be doing as a live-action show. And this one is the first issue of Firepower, which is Kirkman's newest superhero comic. Now, keeping on with the TV theme, Stranger Things. This one has a story from Stranger Things comics that Dark Horse is doing, and it also has a Minecraft story too. And then we have Lumberjanes. And this one is Farewell to Summer. So if you've been reading the Lumberjane comics at all, which are wonderful, cool, girl-oriented, girl power, positive stories with a lot of fantasy, you can enjoy Lumberjanes. Now, one of my all-time favorites is Usagi Yojimbo. And this Free Comic Book Day issue actually also features Chibi Usagi. And Chibi Usagi is illustrated by Stan Sakai's wife. So you'll have an Usagi story, and then you have little Chibi in there too. There he is. And Mean Girls does have a comic book series called Senior Year, and this is the first issue of that. And then we also have, the Tick has been around for a long time. There were actually 2 different TV series based on the Tick. He is a superhero, but he's kind of wacky and a little bit crazy. And his sidekick is Arthur the Moth. So if you like your superheroes with a lot of crazy humor, the Tick is it. And from Tokyo Pop, we have 2 different stories. There's one from a series called Bibi and Miyu, and also the new series, The Fox and the Little Tanuki. And so these are Tokyo Pop series that are available. The Fox and Little Tanuki is really, really cute. Okay, I think I covered all the teens. Moving on to the adult titles. We have a lot of different things here. Drawn and Quarterly is a Canadian publisher who publishes a lot of the Korean comics manhwa. That's their word for what we call manga for the Japanese comics. And this is a sampling of contemporary Korean comics. So you can see the style is kind of similar to the Japanese, although they generally use the regular left to right reading orientation. Now Canada has its own superheroes too. Here's Captain Canuck. And this is Captain Beyond and Captain Battle are some more heroes in here. And Horizon is an adventure based on the game. And this is Horizon Zero Dawn, so it's just the beginning few pages of that comic with some more information in there about that. If you like horror, because of course Halloween is coming soon, we have the Richard Fairgray Monster Showcase. And these are just various horror comics. Some of them have a lot of humor in them too. If you wanted to know a little bit about collecting comics, the Overstreet Guide to Collecting has a little issue in here with some, and they do it in comic book format, but talking a little bit about how to collect and what to do, and so it's a lot of fun. Power Rangers. Now these Power Rangers are not quite the kiddie Power Rangers. They're a little bit more for like the older teen, even adult readers. People like my older son who were Power Ranger fans when they were little kids. So there's that. Then Blade Runner 2019. And this is basically the first issue of the ongoing series from Titan Comics. So carrying on with the whole Blade Runner story, going on from there. The Boys. Yeah, that's on I think, is it Prime? Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. These are very adult superheroes. These guys are not nice. And, but if you enjoy this kind of stuff, this is basically the first issue of the comic book series that the Prime series is based on. And we have another, this is Dark Arc Instinct. This is from a fairly new publisher, Aftershock. Cullen Bunn has done a lot of really cool horror comics. So there's another one for you guys who like that kind of story. And if you like your horror crazy, we have Hillbilly, The Lizard of Rusty Creek Cave by Eric Powell. And again, these are horror stories, but with a lot of sass and a lot of humor. Then we have The Dark One. This is by Brandon Sanderson, who also does novels. And again, this is basically the whole first issue. So you're getting a whole story in here, which is pretty cool if you want to give that one a try. And this one is from another brand new publisher, Authors and Writers Alliance, AWA. And this one is called The Resistance. This is by J. Michael Straczynski. If anyone has ever watched Babylon 5, other shows like that, Straczynski created those shows. He's also written a lot of comics. So this is his new comic, along with previews for another story by Cullen Bunn and Kari Andrews. These are all comics creators who've been around for a long time, and they've banded together to create this new publisher. Lady Mechanica, which is kind of a steampunk adventure mystery. It's a lot of fun. For people who enjoy that kind of thing. She's a pretty cool character. The Incal is a French comic, originally a French comic. Humanoids Publishing specializes in translating a lot of the French comics into English. And so the Incal is one of the classic stories, but this is a new story of the Incal by our own American Mark Waid. This is another title from Dark Horse, Critical Role Vox Machina Origins. So this is another one based on a game, but again, a really cool looking adventure story that you can enjoy if you like those. And one of my favorites, Jack Kirby is a classic comics artist. He worked in Marvel and DC. He's best known for like Captain America and other stalwart Marvel superhero characters. This one is the first section of a comic book biography of Jack Kirby's life, done in the style of his art, which is really cool. So if you want to know a little bit more about Jack Kirby, who was considered the king of comics for a long time, you can have some fun with this. And then I think, yeah, I already did Horizon. Okay, so that's what we have. Like I said, we've put in bags with assorted 4 comics for each of the different age levels. And it is while supplies last. And basically, you just get the bag, and hopefully you'll enjoy the titles that you get. The whole idea of Free Comic Book Day, when it got started, was to introduce people to the variety of comics that are out there. So if you were like an X-Men fan, maybe you might want to try seeing some of these other titles and see how they work for you. Things like that. So I hope that you will enjoy our Free Comic Book Week and the offerings that we have for you. Thank you.